BFG. BFG.
BFG.
BFG.
BFG.
BFG. BFG.
It was a time when game developer teams could fit round a dining room table. A time when just a group of mates could do something really important. There must have been an incredible excitement in the air. They knew they were part of one mission the world over. How to make something great come out of that little grey rectangle that was the PlayStation and change the world. Join me as we take a look back at those times, those very good times. It was really just about how people could do something great within these limitations, and each popular game on the PlayStation was a triumph in problem solving and art combined. And that's what makes these games so interesting to revisit. Today, computing power is on tap, but back then if you made the Sony PlayStation do backflips, it was noticed. A mix of clever coding and artistic expression could turn our beloved plastic box into something a lot more. Here is a little bit about the games and the people that made the PlayStation an immensely significant part of gaming history. And history. The graphics and animations in Crash Bandicoot still look good today. It's no wonder my mind was completely blown in the 90s. Thanks to the clever use of colour and shape design, the Naughty Dog team managed to engulf the player in stunningly rich environments never before seen with not a single straight line in sight. A far cry from the platform games that inspired it. Crash Bandicoot was also a masterclass in level design, taking classic platformer elements and turning them on their head, literally. The range of play mechanics in Crash was immense. They tried just about everything with this game. It was full of controller-stealing moments, riding the hog and the boulder levels, to name but a few. Something was going on at Naughty Dog that was exceptional. Crash was where it all began for the legendary game developers, and we all know where they ended up. Naughty Dog made the PlayStation look and play its best with the Crash Bandicoot series, and for that, we are very grateful. Today, another new generation can enjoy the remastered versions. However, it is our firm opinion that Naughty Dog didn't need to update the games at all. No one had a PlayStation without a Tekken game, even if you only had a demo. And Tekken 3 took the series to its absolute peak and cemented it into the hearts of everyone who loved games, and those who weren't even bothered about games. Everyone could appreciate how good Tekken 3 was. I'll start with the music, and when that's blasting out your room, it's no wonder my normally disinterested sister poked her head in to see what it was all about. Handing over the other controller, she finally realizes that games are actually cool. And the fact that even a complete first-timer who's never held a PlayStation controller before, barely, can still kick your backside is a prime example of perfect game design. Metal Gear Solid should be number one, except that the two games above it in my list here are abnormally exceptional pieces of art that deserve to be there. Breaking down the fourth wall doesn't really cut it. Fully aware of itself as a game, and you as a real person holding a controller, Metal Gear Solid pulls you into some sort of surreal experience that strangely felt like it was actually happening inside the PlayStation. When you called the characters on the codec in the game, you believed they really answered. And when you died in the game, the characters just couldn't understand how the main protagonist in the game had died, because that can't happen. And you truly felt like those characters would have to go and find some other game to be in, unless you pressed continue. The fact that you had to find the number for Meryl on the back of the CD case, or plug the controller in port 2 to stop Psycho Mantis reading your mind, was not just a quirky, funny, self-aware thing. It was the best way to make a game feel like it was real. And man, did you feel like a part of the action. More so than I think any other game has ever managed to do. All with a great sense of humour. And playing through the whole game again recently, every limitation of the PS1 was somehow used as an advantage, right down to the shaky textures. Does it get any better than this? Well, yeah, surprisingly. According to me anyway. But only just. Wipeout was an incredible series, and the third installment was simply the best one. and it was the last time the original Psygnosis team will have free reign over what was a juggernaut of creativity. Everything from the graphic design to the music was incredible. There wasn't a creative boundary that wasn't pushed, and it probably influenced an entire generation of people to make stuff, including me. It showed just how much fun a single group of people could have making something and sharing it with the world, and you yourself could be a part of the excitement. The soundtrack was serious art all on its own, and after the explosion that was Wipeout 2097, Wipeout 3 had a lot to live up to. Amazingly, it surpassed its predecessor. You could not have asked for a better soundtrack, so much so that it became the reason to play the game. But that was not by accident. The whole series was centered around the soundtrack. It felt like you were buying an album, with a game. And Sasha had outdone himself here curating the third installment, especially with his own track Expander. So this was much more than just a game, it was real, which is why it's above Metal Gear Solid in my list. You had no excuse but to play this amazing game and be a part of the creative movement that was happening. Sometimes in the business, a team can be so good that the guys paying for it just leave you alone to do your thing. And I guess the first 3 Wipeout games was a time when a team really got to do what they wanted. Moments like that can't last forever. But Psygnosis had 3 moments, and the third was the best. If you've never played Wipeout 3 before, play it now. And if you have, play it now. Ridge Racer Type 4 was a heart-wrenchingly good game, and probably the most emotionally drenched arcade racer that ever was. As soon as I first put on the game, I immediately knew this was something special, something different. Namco knew it too. The FMV intro alone is a masterpiece. Little did I know as a kid it would still be affecting me today. The game itself drives perfectly with Ridge Racer's winning formula of drifting on rails unrealistically fast, making you feel like you had a superpower when you got it just right. The game made racing feel like something much more, and those cars were not ordinary cars, they were something else. I loved Gran Turismo. It was a great game, but Ridge Racer Type 4 was otherworldly good. It was outside of reality, a place where Gran Turismo was bound. R4 combined casual fun with ultimate focus at the same time, effortlessly easing from one into the other, drawing you into the game. The music leading you through the drama, the characters pulling on your heartstrings all the way through, getting ever more intense before finally serenading you into a reflection of just how hard you pushed yourself this time. It was and is the perfect arcade racing experience that no realistic racing game could ever achieve. And in my opinion, no other arcade racer has ever achieved since. The way the car moves was a recipe Namco didn't change very much throughout the series, because it was pure gold. As well as not improving the third-person view of the vehicle, they wanted you to play the game the right way, 3 inches from the road, with the camera moving with such fluid detail that only now I can fully appreciate as I try to code my own games. This game was a symphony of mathematical and artistic decisions that Namco thankfully did absolutely everything to keep pure. You can probably tell by now I absolutely love this game. I do. It's my favorite game of all time. I'm so glad this game was made.
Get back those 90s vibes at bfg.games. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. To continue reading this review and loads more gaming-related stuff, head over to our website, bfg.games. And at bfg.games, you can find and compare the best full-fibre broadband deals recommended just for gamers.
BFG